Welcome to HP Tuner's Ford Gen 1 Coyote Training Part 31. In this training module, we're going to take a look at how to dial in our spark timing on a chassis dyno with a naturally aspirated Coyote engine. So we're going to go from start to finish, looking at what to change and what to actually log and how to evaluate those data logs in order to know what to go in and actually calibrate for our spark timing. We're going to have a lot to cover. Let's jump in so we can check this out.
Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be taking a look at working with a spark tuning demonstration on a Gen 1 Coyote. Now I have a 2014 Mustang GT. It has a JLT intake, long tube headers, high flow cats, and a catback exhaust. So typical bolt-on mods. We're on 93 octane. What you'll find here is pretty typical of what you'll see replicating this on another bolt-on Gen 1 Coyote. Now, we're gonna have a separate tutorial talking about looking at our force induction type of tuning and spark timing. We're not gonna cover that here. We're just trying to get into the basics of understanding of what is going on and tuning our spark timing. Now, the first thing we're gonna do here is jump in and apply some basic update changes to our file that's going to allow us to do full throttle tuning without hitting any kind of limiters or odd behavior on our dyno. I have that saved into a template file that we can simply import into the calibration. You'll find this in your course packet. I have that, it's going to have that available once you go in and download everything from the course packet. I'm going to go and apply that to my JLT intake calibration file. This is that file that we did the math tuning on. We dialed everything in. We know that's 100% dialed in, so we're going to be starting off with this for this tutorial. So we need to go in and update and apply all these changes. I talked about some of the things in our last tutorial, what we need to do when we do our spark timing tuning, so we're going to actually carry through all of that. I have another template file that's going to allow us to import all of the knock sensor changes and any changes in our spark timing we want to make. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's get it out of the way first, since it's pretty straightforward. It's just kind of plug and chug. Let's go over what we're changing in the file and then bring all those changes in. So I'm going to go up here to edit. I'm going to template applicator. I'm going to go to file open and open up my general changes file. This file has all the things to get things like the limiter out of the way, the rev limiter, raise it up a little bit, any kind of torque truncation, speed limiters, any kind of other issues we might run into, just silly things that we have to raise up so we don't hit them if we're doing full throttle pulls. So looking here, I'm raising my RPM up in my limiter. I'm changing my RPM limiter in my engine oil temperature base table. I have my wheel torque error max set to 1,000,000 just so I can get that out of the way. I haven't calibrated my torque tables yet. We will be doing that here in a little bit, so next few tutorials we're going to take a look at that, but we're going to get that out of the way right now. Scheduled torque max, I raised that up so I don't get throttle closure. My torque transmission general, I've raised all my torque truncation values up, as well as we have our speed limiters right here. We raised those to 200 miles per hour. So we're just taking all these, we're applying them to our file. We shouldn't run into any issues. Let's go to apply changes, and let's go up here into apply selected parameters, and that's going to allow us to apply those. So we've applied the general limit changes that we need to make. There's not a whole lot, but just a few. Let's go in here and do another file open, and we're going to go to the NA engine changes. This is going to be changing things specific. Let's go back to preview here, specific for our spark timing or knock control. So let's go through what I have on my list here of what we're actually going to be updating and changing. These are just some general things that I like to update. So we have our Vid Octane Adjust. This allows us to have a little bit more consistent timing for the Vid Octane Adjust parameter. These values are a little bit lower stock. I like to run them right about -1. Fuel here, this is going to be a borderline correction. So at our higher power enrichment values, this is our higher, richer target lambda, we've zeroed out the table so that we don't have any offsets or influence from what is going on in our borderline table. I want to make the corrections in the table rather than having a sub modifier go in and add or subtract timing. So that's exactly what this would do. So we're riding essentially on our 0, no ignition timing offset from our borderline table. Optimal power, this is going to be raising our maximum brake torque under the optimal power table. This at our higher loads here, 0.9 to 1.0, that's at full throttle. We're going to be raising this up to about 28 degrees of ignition timing. Even here at 0.75, we're raising it up a little bit. We're raising our maximum brake torque values so that this is not going to be a hindrance in making power. This is going to be our ceiling. We don't want to run much more than this on 93 octane. There's really no benefit from running anything higher than about 28, 29 degrees. This will be our ceiling, so we're establishing it right here. Going down a little bit further, we're going to find lambda offset for our maximum brake torque zeroed out, so we're not going to have any influence from that. The pre-ignition table has been all set to 63 degrees, so that's not going to be a factor anymore. There's an adder lambda to the pre-ignition table. We've zeroed that out. The cylinder pressure limit has also been raised here to 30 degrees. That's going to be another limit, so that's going to be a ceiling. We shouldn't run into this. We're going to hit our maximum brake torque value before we hit our cylinder pressure. But I like to keep cylinder pressure right about 30, 31, 32 degrees. That's fine. I copied and pasted some other just correction modifiers for our cylinder pressure that we'd like to make, just so it's not going to do anything with the actual cylinder pressure limit. It's not going to be going in trying to offset anything. So we can see here, like, for example, lambda modifier has been zeroed out. So that way it's going to ride the cylinder pressure right from the table here. Going down a little bit further, we're going to find here engine, spark retard, knock retard. The rate here, I've lowered the value down so it goes in, it retards the timing. It's not as aggressive in the ignition retard, how quickly it takes it out. Taking a look at a recovery rate here, this is going to be how quickly it starts to restore the timing. I've changed both the rate fast and our, in this case down here, there should be...
Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.